I'm going to dive into this topic in an unusual sort of way that you've probably never heard before. Never heard before. Because here's the thing: if you are a spiritually grounded consultant, coach, or professional, in other words, you're considered an expert, especially if you are a business coach or consultant, I'm going to pull back the curtain. Yep, I'm going to expose all the myths, all the deception, all the half truths for true business growth from a business development standpoint. I'm talking about little known marketing secrets many people don't freaking like to talk about. Now, from a marketing perspective, this will shock you. Yet, at the same time, this could be one of the most brutally honest things you've ever heard in your entire business life when it comes to how to expand, how to grow, how to scale your business. So you're going to be confused. You're going to be upset. You're going to be baffled. Perhaps you may think that I am out of my mind to be sharing this with you, but that's okay because you probably feel lost when it comes to trying to figure out this thing called what is the best way to grow your business as an expert, as a consultant, as a coach, as a professional. I call it the fog. So here's the dealio about the fog. Before you know it, this whole presentation, I'm going to make it go away. I'm going to get you to see why the fog exists in the first place and how it can be cleared. That's my promise. And it starts by understanding and accepting that you don't need to get louder. You need to become undeniable. Let me say that again. You don't need to get louder. You need to become undeniable. So, in our small amount of time today, in our time together, my goal is to make a big impact with you in the following way. And that is number one, to help you architect a brand of what I call divine authority. Divine authority, not just to grow a business, but to anchor a legacy, your legacy, rooted in truth, rooted in impact, rooted in fulfillment. Number two, for you to stop chasing growth. You know, stop chasing growth. Instead, start anchoring structure, clients, wealth, and impact so it all comes naturally for you. Okay. And then number three, to show you how to create a structure where your greatness can be recognized, respected, and multiplied. All right. And my second goal is well, I shouldn't say my second. My first goal here in terms of my agenda is this, and that is I want to give you the very best solution that you've ever seen. I want to give you the very best solution that you've ever seen when it comes to this whole thing called, hey, how do you lead your category? How can you command premium fees and how can you get more clients? So that's my number one agenda item. And my second agenda item is this, and that is to sell you something. Yes, to sell you something. Now, here's the deal. If I don't make good on my promise, if I don't make good on my promise, my first promise, then don't buy anything at the end. But I guarantee you this, what I have to offer you, you're going to be blown away by what it is that I had to offer. Okay? Is that a deal? So promise me that you will at least give serious consideration. Okay? Just give serious consideration to everything that I'm going to be sharing with you here. Give serious consideration to this incredible special offer that I'm going to make to you at the end of our time together today in this webinar. I mean, this is a deal you can't pass. So here's the thing. Let me tell you what I'm not going to do. What I don't do is offer tactics. I don't teach scripts. All right? I don't do all those things that a lot of marketing people like to do in terms of, hey, here's some plug and play, and here's a cookie cutter template, or here's some quick wins that you can use real fast to get some income. No, the experts that I work with, the ones that listen to me and embrace what I have to have, they're ready to build something unshakable. So if you're ready to build something unshakable, a business that stands on truth and not trends, then you're in the right place. Fair enough? Yet, if nothing else, I tell you what else I'm here to do. And that is I want to make sure that I sort of what's a good word? I kind of sort out those of you who are experts that are ready to lead, not just compete. Because when you're ready to lead, your greatness can be recognized. Your greatness can be respected. Your greatness can be multiplied. That's the key. Now, in the process here, I'm going to create some controversy. I'm going to create some controversy. Jerry Foster's about to create some controversy because here's how I look at things. Many of these so-called marketing gurus that are running around, they're predators. They're predators. Now, here's the thing. Many of them are predators because, oh God, how do I get this? They ruthlessly try to exploit experts like yourself. They really do. I remember a few years ago, I was speaking at an online summit, and I made the comment that a lot of marketing people are predators. And this young woman blurted out, "No, Jerry, they're not predators, they're bloodsuckers." So here's the thing. Let the alarms start going off right now, because there's a whole lot of noise and confusion out there when it comes to this whole thing about how do you become the go-to expert in your space? How do you become the number one authority that people look to, that they should work with? There's a lot of noise and authority out there about who folks should turn to when it comes to working with someone like yourself. And quite frankly, and again, I don't have anything against marketing people. I'm just saying that many of them are deceptive. They are. And even though a lot of their marketing strategies and tactics and hacks, while they can be very clever, very unconventional and well intended in terms of boosting traffic and getting leads and getting sales and all of that, at the end of the day, they are quite useless and risky. But you got to do something, right? You got to do something to grow. So what happens? You take the bait. You go for the shiny object. You buy into believing that marketing is the holy grail. And the next thing you know, you wasted a lot of time, you wasted a lot of precious energy and money, not to mention lost hopes and dreams. Alarms going off. Not good. And from my experience, and I've been at this for a long time, you'll learn more about that as we go along. The reason why I think this happens is because many of these so-called marketing gurus are unqualified, or they're unethical, or they're just plain greedy. Now, am I saying that all marketing people are bad? No, of course not. However, a few unethical or incompetent marketers can damage the reputation of the entire industry. I myself, I like working with the good marketing people, okay? Because there's a lot of good ones out there. Those who know okay, I almost cussed. Those who know what they're doing, and they can be trusted to keep their word and do what they say they're going to do. Those are the ones that I know and the ones that I'd like to work with. All right? So, I'm here today to sell you hard on practicing business excellence by making the one shift and divine authorizing your brand as a coach, consultant, or a professional. But I have to make a confession. Becoming the one, becoming the undeniable choice is hard. This ain't easy. Okay? See, you have to brand, then you have to market, and then you have to sell. And many experts seem to have a hard time doing all three effectively because the job of branding is to get you known so that marketing can then take over to get you found, and selling can then get you paid. You got to get known, get found, get paid in that order because we're all in business to be seen, to be heard, and to make money. But if you only focus on one or two of these, you're in trouble. If you don't do them in the right order, if you understand that you don't put the tile down before the cabinets are up, which means you don't start with marketing and then figure out the branding and the selling. No, you got to do things in the right order. And then on top of the right branding and marketing and selling, you got to automate. I mean, wouldn't you agree that it would be awesome if you had a conveyor belt of high-paying clients coming your way on a consistent basis? And that's what can happen when you're the one. When you make the one shift around you leveraging divine authority. All right? And then on top of all of this, be careful, you could get burned out if you don't do it the right way. Oh, yeah. I mean, nobody wants to get burned out in the process. So what happens is that if you're out there doing branding, marketing, and selling in the wrong order, you're not doing it the right way, or you've got some gaps, you've got some holes, and on and on and on. And you spend all this money and put all your hopes and dreams on this marketing tactic, this, that, and the other. What happens is burnout. Because you're trying to figure out what the heck is going to work here. And you don't want any of this. And then on top of all of that, you have to have a mind shift here. Because when you are coming from a place of wanting to be looked upon as the one that people should work with, that you are the person, the authority that they should be working with, you have to have a mind shift and lead like a CEO and not just serve like a technician. Because when you lead like a CEO, then your divine authority brand must be what? It must be locked in. It must be clear. It must be focused. It must be built to command. And so when the calling on your life, when your purpose is divine, you got to do certain things. You got to move with clarity because confusion cannot build legacy. You got to have a well-defined structure, because that has to be in place in order to make sure that your business doesn't topple over. And if you're called to lead, your mission must go beyond simply wanting to reach personal wins that you may have. And instead, you're shooting for what's called legacy level impact. And then you need alignment with your higher power. You've got to have alignment with your higher power to create a profound and lasting impact. And then when all of that comes together, you've got to have certain anchors in place. You anchor your divine authority. You anchor your brand in place for what? Stability. Crucial stability that will also help you navigate any challenges that come your way. So that takes some doing this. That takes a team. That takes having the right people on your team to make all this happen. See, let me share something with you about myself. You're going to learn more about me as we go along. But here's the thing. I didn't start this journey for myself. knowing what divine authority was. I just knew that I couldn't stay living in confusion. I mean, I was clueless, but I was committed. Clueless but committed. I kept showing up, I kept trying, I kept seeking. And maybe you've been there too. And if that's true, it's probably because you just don't know all the answers to rise above it all. Mm. You just need to stop ignoring what's already stirring in you and embrace the divinity on your life. And it's kind of sad because the sad reality for most of us as experts is that we're struggling. We're stuck and we're struggling financially. So what do? We tweak landing pages, we seek a better or smarter system. We consider all the shiny distractions. We scramble for visibility. We scramble for leads. We scramble for high ticket wins. I mean, the beat goes on and on. In this whole thing called client development, it all feels like a long and uphill battle, doesn't it? Because we're in this state of confusion and overwhelm. And I got to tell you something. In a world flooded with experts, coaches, consultants, right? You've heard me say it over and over. In a world flooded with folks like us, in a world flooded with content and funnels and offers, the notion or the idea that someone should automatically choose you or that someone should automatically refer clients to you, those days are long gone. So then we get back into the battle. There we are. We're buying into, oh, well, Jerry, hold on, Jerry. All I got to do is shoot videos, post content, promote challenges. I don't know, build relationships, find some stages to speak on. I mean, come on. And then, hey, listen, here's the thing. Let's not buy into the fact that there's an elephant in the room. Because a lot of us are like, chat GPT and AI will save the day. Chat GPT and AI will save the day. But as I and many others see it, and I don't know if you know this, Chat GPT and AI cannot lead, it can only follow. Look, here's the thing. I've had my coaching, consulting, and training business since the mid 80s. Yes, the mid 80s. And one fact has not changed since then, and that is people don't pay just for information. What people pay for, from folks like us, is genuine insights, trust, and transformation. And all of that must do what? It must reflect your experience, your expertise. It must reflect your values. It must capture your true authentic voice. Okay? And so the folks that you want to hire you, they want distinct perspectives from you. That honestly, no machine, algorithm, or technology can mimic, predict, or copy. Now, can you go ahead and feed it that and do it a certain way and get back? Of course. But here's the deal. You got to do it the right way from a divine authority standpoint, which is what I do. And I tell you something, don't get me wrong. I love Chat GPT. I love AI. But the point is that you have to go about it the right way. See, in my humble opinion, because this is a hot topic today, the truly dependable way as an expert, this is you and me talking, the truly dependable way for you to make money, have influence and impact, if you insist on using ChatGPT or AI, is to make sure that you align your brand identity with AI by doing several things around. This is all around who are you being? How are you showing up? Number one, by being human first. Okay. Rooted in real experiences, empathy, emotional intelligence, original, independent thoughts that you can then feed into ChatGPT. Number two, by being strategic. And when I say strategic, meaning that as you are working with ChatGPT or AI, you have to know how to position it all to do what? Solve any complex problems that AI cannot contextualize. And so your prompts and your commands all have to be done a certain way, especially when you're trying to build your brand. And number three, by being undeniable, meaning that you are now perceived as the one to the people that you're trying to reach, that you're not coming across as just another voice. Oh my God. And so all your refinements and all the things that you do play a big role. Now, you may already know everything that I just shared. ChatGPT is powerful, no doubt about it. But like I said, it's a follower, not a leader. And when you leave from divine authority, which is what this webinar is about, it becomes what's called a force multiplier. Write that down. Chat GPT then becomes a force multiplier for your business, for your brand. Because what? AI is brilliant at execution. I'm blown away by the execution of AI and Chat GPT. But it cannot carry vision. Because when you leave from a place of divine authority, and you're going to learn how to do that today, Chat GPT, what happens is that it aligns with your frequency, not the other way around. And so if you get where I'm coming from, you got to have alignment here with your frequency. Because, yeah, sure, Chat GPT is fast, but without your divine authority leading the way, then what happens is that you just have noise on autopilot. Okay. All right. So hold on to that, because I tell you, that plays a major role. Because before this day is over, you're going to learn how to multiply your business pretty fast. Okay. Pretty cool. You excited? I'm excited. All right. So now here's the thing. We got all this noise. We got all this stuff going around. And, you got the Chat GPT, the AI thing going on. You've got marketing people saying, do this, do that, shoot videos, post content, promote challenges, whatever, right? And we're like, oh my God, what do I do? And then on top of that, let's not pretend social media isn't crowded. Everybody's posting. Do you have any idea of the amount of experts who are out there posting? Or the so-called experts who are posting? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. However, it's all noise unless you show up with divine authority. Because divine authority cuts through the noise. It cuts through the fog, okay? Because here's another dose of reality. Social media is flooded. Why is it flooded? Because all of us are, as experts, we're trying to stand out. So yeah, all these platforms are great for standing out, but the platforms don't build presence. Divine authority does. Write that word down, presence. And you'll see that as we go along today, okay? My point is this: with so many experts posting, it's all hustle. It's all hustle until you lead with divine authority. Big difference. You with me? Okay. Now, let's talk about another reality. On top of that, the very people that you're trying to land as clients are overwhelmed and confused. They got so many experts coming at them. They got too many choices. They don't know who to believe. They don't know who to work with. And then on top of that, everybody's busy. Everybody's on the go, right? With the attention span of a bee. Everybody's moving fast. And here you are caught up in the fast lane and all this craziness going on. So I want to ask you a question or some questions right now. Okay? And so I really want you to have this huge breakthrough occur for you. But I need to make sure that you're grounded in this. So what I'd like you to do, please, is just take out a sheet of paper that you can write on or use your computer or your device to record some answers. Because I want to get into the how and uh, what is important is in terms of starting with your why and what your why is, all that sort of thing, okay? Because the folks who are going to want to become the one in their space, their industry, their category, whatever word you want to use there, these questions are critical for you to answer. Okay? First question is, why are you willing to put the time and effort in to get what you want and deserve? Why are you willing to do that? You're a coach, you're a consultant, you're a professional. Why this? So write down what your thoughts are there, okay? I'm going to pause here for a minute so you can answer that question. Why are you willing to put the time and effort in to get what you want and deserve? Second question. Why are you willing to risk your comfort zone to get the result you desire deepest in your heart? Why are you willing to do that? Put your thoughts around that as well. Number 3. Now, the answers aren't rhetorical, but I want your answers right now recorded on something. And that gets into the fact that as we go to this next question, I want you to be more specific, because the more specific, the better. The more senses, the better. But the question is this, and don't laugh. What will your face look like when you succeed? When you have this explosion of growth, as you are connecting your work with your higher power, we're going to talk about that. This is nothing tactical here, everyone, okay? What will your face look like when all of a sudden you have that shift occur? And that breakthrough occurs. Who will be cheering you on and supporting you? Who's going to be your cheerleader? And for some of you, that could be a spouse, a significant other, it could be children, it could be relatives, it could be friends, who knows? But they very well could be people who are waiting on you to make the shift so that you can become the one. Are you with me? Because they're sick and tired of perhaps seeing and experiencing your shortcomings financially and stuff like that. So when that breakthrough occurs, who's going to be cheering you on? And what will that feel like in your head, in your heart, in your stomach? What's that going to be like? Oh my God. And then who else besides you will be better off when you finally reach your goal? Who are the benefactors of you achieving divine authority around your work that are going to be better off as a result? Okay. See, your your powerful why with your powerful what and how that I'm going to be sharing, excuse me, with my what and how that I'm going to be sharing today creates miracles. Mark my words. As a result of this webinar and putting it into use, you will create miracles in whatever areas are most important to you. And your why and your what and your how all have to sort of come together the right way. But again, we're talking about a shift here. And I want you to start having that CEO mindset, not thinking like a solopreneur, not just thinking like a technician, not just thinking like a coach or a consultant or whatever profession you're in, but to think of yourself as someone who was on this earth for a specific reason, to do something that you alone have been called to do. We'll talk more about that later. So then the real question is this: are you ready to create a miracle today? Are you ready to create a miracle today? See, some of you need a miracle. For some of you, you may be in a situation where it's so tough that you've gone down so low that when you look up, you still see bottom. I've been there. Bought the t-shirt, the mug, and the baseball cap. Okay. However, miracles can occur, especially in this kind of work that I am sharing with you today, because why? It's tapping into your higher power. So early on, I said that this webinar is for spiritually grounded folks like you. And the reason why this webinar is like nothing you've ever heard or seen before. This is not a marketing webinar. This is not about tactics and all the things I was sharing earlier. This is really more about my belief that the fact that you're here says to me that you are doing anointed work. Oh, yeah. Meaning that within yourself, you feel or you know that the work you do as an expert, as a consulting coach, professional, whatever, right? That the work you do for others is powerful, it's chosen, and it is set apart for what? Divine impact. It is set apart for divine impact. Now, Let me be clear. When I use the word higher power, whether you call your higher power God, spirit, creator, universe, source, or something entirely different, or something else entirely, I should say, doesn't matter. What matters is that you're not building this brand alone. You were sent here to carry out something specific in your life. You were created to accomplish something specific that no one else can accomplish. You were designed to be known for something special. Divine authority honors your divine assignment. Are you with me? Hang out with that. Okay? Because when you connect that with your work, with the right kind of I'm going to use approaches and methods and all the different things you're going to learn today, all of a sudden, boom, those miracles start showing up. All right. Now, here's the real question. You might want to write this down. What has your higher power hardwired you to do? Again, whoever, whatever your higher power is, I honor and respect who that or what that is. I do not judge. But my question, though, is what has your higher power hardwired you to do? Is it to become more relevant? Is it to build wealth? Is it to transform lives with your presence, your purpose, your brand? Said another way, what were you wired for by design and not default? So that you can stay visible, so that you can build wealth that means something. Or perhaps you are here to leave a legacy that changes lives long after you're gone. Regardless of how you answer those questions, by the end of this video, by the end of our work today, you will have no other choice than to buy into what I'm selling, which is that you have the right to claim your divine authority. That you have within you the capacity to be the preferred choice, the one that people will want to hire, work with, and pay you well. You deserve that and have the right to claim that. Because when you empower it with the one shift way of doing things, then the blessings you seek will come your way. See, this, like I said, this is not a typical kind of marketing presentation or branding discussion. This is about the divine authority brand called you. Because there is nothing more important than people seeing you as the one to work with, number one in your specialty. Wouldn't you agree? There's nothing more important than you claiming a space in your prospect's mind that no competitor can touch. Getting an edge that gives you a lead they can't catch. Having a head start on every sale. Said another way, you have divine favor. See, so some of y'all may not be ready for this. Okay, see, I'm talking for those of you out there who are spiritually awake. See, if we were doing this live, I'd say right in the chat box, I'm with you, Jerry. I'm spiritually awake. I'm spiritually awake. In other words, you're in touch with your higher power. You believe that you're special. You know you're not like everybody else, that you deserve success, you deserve wealth, you deserve recognition, you deserve all the things that should come your way. But you got to start thinking about, man, how big do you want to grow? And you've got to make a big decision. Because if it's not about you making lots of money, which is fine, money is not important to everybody. It could be that your goal right now is to create something special that will provide you a greater sense of personal fulfillment and joy. I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs and experts who are in business not so much for the money. They just want more joy, more fulfillment. Or maybe you want to divine authoritize yourself so that you can leave your mark on the world, make more of a contribution, and so on. Or it may just be that you want to have more fun in your business. I mean, I've met a whole lot of experts who are freaking depressed. I mean, I'm like, why are you doing this? Have fun. That's okay to set that as a goal for yourself. Or maybe for you, in terms of this whole thing about impact and influence and how big do you want to be and all of that, maybe you want to fire people up so they fall in love with your brand. Or maybe you want your divine authority brand to enable you to have lots and lots of followers and subscribers and downloaders. Or maybe you just want to feel more energized about your business. I've met many entrepreneurs who are like, it's like they're worn down from what they're doing. But I love this whole thing about followers and downloaders and subscribers because maybe some of you want to be a major influencer. Or maybe you want to become famous. Okay? So all this stuff I want you to start thinking about. The what and the why. The how with the divine authority, you'll learn all that, okay? Now, I want to do some training with you. But we got to do some housekeeping here, okay? And the training is going to be a mini divine authority training with you. So I'm switching gears here. But in terms of some housekeeping, some ground rules, first off, this webinar will run over an hour. Okay? This is in-depth work that's very informative, it's highly relevant, and I don't want to shortchange you. I don't want to shortchange you for the sake of, this should be no more than an hour. Don't go over 55, 60 minutes. No. And here's something you should know about me. I'm known for providing lots and lots of content, fresh content, giving more than what people expect. Okay. I will never forget the time I once asked a woman, I was delivering a workshop at a conference, and she came up to me afterwards, and she was complimenting me and thanking me and on and on and on. And I said to her, hey, do you think I gave you all too much information, too much content? Do you think I had too many PowerPoint slides? And she looked at me, and I'll never forget it. You know what she said? She said, no. Jerry, you cannot make that decision for us. Just give us your all, pour into us, and we'll figure out how to sort it out. And Jerry, what I love about you is you're not stingy. So don't be stingy like a lot of speakers are who just want to give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that so that at the end you buy their books, tapes, and programs. She said, don't do that. So, everyone tuning in here today, I am pouring into your life, and I hope you're okay with that. But here's a cool thing about it, though. All you got to do right now is buckle up, put your tray up, and put your seat in this upright position. Okay? Because we're about to take off. And the great thing about this being a recorded webinar is that you can stop it, you can pause it at any time and come back later. Watching this video is like watching a movie on a streaming device, right? Netflix, Prime Video, Apple TV. See, that way, because you can stop and pause and come back, you don't miss out on anything. And I'd rather have you do that than simply me trying to just give you a little bit of stuff in 60 minutes. Fair enough? All right. Now, some of you may be wondering, who is this guy? And I thought this would be a good time to share a little bit about myself. I'm a brand strategist as opposed to other types of branding people. You have brand designers, the ones who do aesthetics and logos and pretty colors. You have people who create branded websites. You have people who do social media branding. You have people who do promotional products, t-shirts and baseball caps with the little logos on. You have branding people who specialize in storytelling. You have people who will help you with what's called your brand personas and all that stuff. I'm what's called a brand strategist, which means that my reputation is that I do the hard stuff, which is figuring out what really makes you unique and special and why you, and what value can you deliver that nobody else can, and what outcomes do you provide that no one else comes close to, and what's your promise going to be and your message going to be. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff like that I do. Okay. One of my favorite compliments was I was speaking at an event once, and a woman came up to me and she goes, "Oh, I get what you do. You do all the thinking that's necessary up front. You do all the upfront thinking. You let other people do the decorating." I thought that was pretty good. I said, yeah. Anyway, my personal commitment over the last 30 plus years that I've been doing this work has been showing small business owners how to create an exceptional brand that will make an exceptional difference so that you can live an exceptional life. I've got tons of experience. I am a devoted, dedicated teacher. One of my biggest joys over the years has been supporting experts like yourself, in particular, who I consider to be my peers. I'm one of you, okay? One of my joys has been enabling you to experience what I call the liberating freedom of creativity, growth, and joy. I believe that you have a genius that is waiting to erupt. And part of my job is to uncork your genius. Okay. And so I'm here right now in this webinar with you to toss you what I would call a creative lifeline so that you can haul me aboard your ship, which is your brand. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for allowing me to be your lighthouse. And what you're going to see now are just some photos of me with past clients and students. Most of these folks are experts like yourself. They're primarily consultants, coaches, and professionals. And they either saw me speak on a stage or they attended a workshop that I conducted. They are affectionately known as Jerry's Kids. And if you're not familiar with that phrase, that's me paying tribute to the late comedian Jerry Lewis, who helped raise money from 1966 to 2010 with an annual Labor Day telethon that was on TV for children who were battling muscular dystrophy. Okay. And so these are just people who, like I said, worked with me and appreciated me. And one of the things that you'll notice in all of these photos is that they're all smiling. They all appreciated what I did for them and with them. And so there was a great deal of admiration and appreciation for me and what it is that I did for them. And my favorite part about all these photos is when you're an expert like you and I are, we just want to feel appreciated, don't we? We want to feel significant, relevant, that our work matters and that people like us and appreciate what it is that we did for them. And so that's what all these pictures show. And these are cherished memories for me from years of people like this all around the US, internationally, who have benefited from my work. Now, I want to be real with you. One of my biggest jobs in this webinar is to sell you on a higher standard. And that higher standard is what I call the achievement of divine authority. So I'm not here to pitch any kind of fluff. I'm here to challenge you. I'm here to have you rise into divine authority and to stop settling for anything less. And I've got to convince you that divine authority isn't a luxury, that it's your next evolution. And because it is your next evolution, you can certainly be the one. And what comes along with this, and with this work we're doing here today in this webinar, is that it's going to help you shatter through barriers. You're going to be able to, break through barriers. You're going to be able to shatter limitations and unleash your untapped potential. And if that's going to require a lot on my part to make that happen for each of you, then doggone it, I'm up for the challenge. Because I know that what I am doing here today is opening up a pathway for you to go down, where you can harness further harness the divine strength of your higher power. And so when we take the strength of your higher power along with the divine strength that your higher power provides, and we combine it with the power of your mind, then you being able to overcome obstacles and manifest desired outcomes, all of that can occur for you. And so from that perspective, I'm all in, because that's why I'm here for you. So one of the things those photographs also say from all those people is that I'm different. The work I do is very special. And very few of other people do what I do, I've been told. And yeah, miracles can happen for sure. So let's dig into, remember I said I was going to do some I was going to do some in-depth training here. What is divine authority? I mean, what the fuck? Oh, excuse me. What is, oh God, what is the one shift? What does that even mean? And why is divine authority so critical? Because I'm bringing forth something that is breakthrough, it's new, it's fresh, it's original in the we'll call it business development space for experts. Okay. Well, let's start with the word divine. The word divine means to provide something extremely pleasing, good, and excellent. And the term divine authority, and why I chose that term, as a noun, it is, and I'll read the slide, it's the unshakable presence that arises when your brand's truth, structure, and legacy are fully aligned, commanding respect, attracting ideal clients, and leading your market with conviction. And when we look at divine authority as a verb, for you, it means being able to claim the seat that only you can fill. Only you can fill and are supposed to fill. Okay. It means to disrupt with dull, to dominate with substance, not noise, to move the masses by standing in your higher power given assignment, positioning you as the undeniable choice in your space or your industry. Okay. Now, the great news is that you can relax. You can exhale and relax, knowing there is a seat for you to claim that only you can fill. Can I get an amen and a hallelujah on that one? I mean, seriously, is that not great? There's a seat with your name on it, ready for you to fill. For you to walk up in there, walking in divine authority with your higher power, knowing that you are to occupy that seat. Now, why is this also so important? Well, look, shoot, Spider-Man said it best. With great power comes great responsibility. I couldn't resist. If you're ready to rise as who you truly are, your actions become alignment in motion. And abundance shows up as an echo of your resonance. And so it all pivots on your beingness and you having a high level of consciousness. And you unlearning some of the things that are holding you back, because in order to have success, you have to set yourself up for success. Oh man, are you feeling me? Now, look, again, we're getting to know each other, right? Well, you're getting to know me. And I hope I get to know you, by the way. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. I'm a Midwest guy. I grew up during the heydays of something called Motown music. And these were iconic artists back in the day. And I'm talking about the Supremes, the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Jackson Five, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, the Miracles. Oh, let me stop. Okay, I'm dating myself. See, it was known as the Motown sound. The brand, the Motown sound. The divine brand, the Motown sound. And it has been called the, quote, music that changed America. Music that changed America and the world beyond it. And a great example of an entrepreneur who was given that authority and grabbed the mantle in this great country of ours of achieving the American dream. His name was Berry Gordy. And much has been written about how the Motown music that he created with all those incredible artists I didn't have Lionel Richie up there. I forgot about Lionel Richie. The Motown music taught us. Did I have Michael Jackson up there? Did I say Michael Jackson? Oh my! Oh, I had the Jackson 5. I forgot Michael Jackson. Shame on me. Okay, let me get focused. Motown music taught us that what unites us will always be stronger than what divides us. Motown music taught us that what unites us will always be stronger than what divides us. That's what Motown did for this country. So, my question to each of you is, write this down. What would be your success strong? Excuse me. What will be your success song? I said strong song. See, I got a success song. Now, I've never shared this with anybody before. And I'm going to share it with you for the first time publicly. And it goes like this. I've got plenty of money in the bank. When bills had to be paid, I've got the money made. Because I've learned from my past that some might say money comes hard, but what you've got to pay, money. But you've got to pay with money. I'm talking about money, making big money. Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Now, if I were to turn this into a rap, right? I would say, I would say when I go on vacation, it's already paid. Even for investment and retirement, my money allows me not to be paid. Showing up in the past, one might say, money come hard, but you got to pay. Money, I'm talking about money, making big money. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Y'all ain't never gonna want to listen to me again. And I'm not even into rap music. Oh gosh. Uh See, why am I sharing all this? If your foundation isn't right, if you haven't set up the essential frameworks that provide what's necessary to adapt and thrive, then no tactic, no trend, no top 10 list for fast revenue, no living on your computers or our computers and posting all day is going to enable you to step into your next level and shift your income fast. What will be your success song? Are you ready? Are you willing to dance with the rhythm of your market? Is your foundation in place? Or are you too busy focusing on tactics and strategies? Now, you need to know something else about me, and that is how I got here. When I was developing this webinar, I made a decision that I was going to be more transparent than I've ever been speaking in public. And I'm going to share some things that I've never disclosed publicly, or if I have, maybe once, but I don't really think so per se. Okay. And the thing is, I have been forged by fire. Forged by fire. Now, what I want to do is I want to give you some context. Okay? Because if you don't have the context, you're not going to get where I'm going with this. So here I was I was like this sweet, adorable, cute little boy. I really was. Midwest, Motown, Detroit. And by the way, when I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, back in those days of Motown music, the auto industry was booming, and Detroit was the sixth largest city in the country. It was great, great, great times in Detroit. And when I left Detroit, I came out to the West Coast to Los Angeles, where I still live, where I now live, I should say, and I attended USC, University of Southern California. And while I was there, I earned two degrees: my Bachelor of Science (BS) degree and my MBA, Master's in Business degree (MBA), both from the Marshall School of Business. And I majored in marketing, deep study in branding, graduated with honors, blah, 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 blah. So there I was, Tommy Trojan. And when I uh, was at USC, I I would meet with all these different companies, company recruiters, and I decided to go work for Procter and Gamble, P&G, in the field of brand management at their world headquarters in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, if you don't know anything about P&G, they are the number one branding company on the planet, okay, and have been for decades. And I read an article once where they said the majority of households in America, every household in America has at least one P&G brand, and people don't even realize it. So anyway, so I worked at P&G in the field of brand management, which included marketing management. I helped grow some of their laundry brands. And while I was at P&G, I was heavily recruited by headhunters. And I finally listened to this one headhunter who said, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, that's a great offer." And so I took this job, and they doubled my salary, which was very important, which was very nice. And I took a big job and I moved to Orange County, California. And the reason I'm showing you this is that I checked off all the boxes. I really did. I graduated from college. I had the successful 10-year corporate career because when I came to the company in Orange County, I was there. That was in the citrus juice and drink industry. So it was all branding and marketing. Okay. And I did what my parents told me to do, which was be a good little boy, study, work hard, do your homework, don't act the fool. And when I came out of school and went into corporate America for 10 years, I played by the rules and I took the bull by the horns. And you should also know that I love to teach. And on top of all of this, I was an adjunct professor of branding, marketing, and advertising at four major Southern California universities, evenings and weekends for 10 straight years. I mean, 10 straight semesters. And when I was teaching at the university level, that included both undergrad students as well as adults who were in what are called continuing education programs, if you're familiar with those. And so I was an adjunct professor doing both undergrad teaching as well as adult education. And I also taught at a number of junior colleges and community colleges for a couple of years. And I would do those on Saturdays. So I've always been a teacher. I love to teach. I love to train. I love to speak. I love to coach. The same kind of stuff that I'm sure many of you do as well. Now, why am I saying this? I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying this to impress upon you what it was like when I started my company. And when I decided to go into business for myself in July of 1985, yes, 1985. Now, I was 10 years old with a lemonade stand, okay? Jesus was wearing sandals and dinosaurs were roaming the earth. Anyway, but when in July of 85, I decided that I was going to leave the corporate world, and I started a branding and marketing company. And here's the thing about it. I use credit cards to start my business full time. And I was working out of my living room on a card table in my pajamas, or sometimes I was in a pair of underwear and a t-shirt. And what's most interesting about that for me is that I had no experience whatsoever at owning and running a business. And then on top of that, I had no footsteps to follow. I had no mentor, no coach, no blueprint. There was no such thing as the internet, right? So I literally blazed my own trail for 24 years. I couldn't go online and connect with experts like yourself and get advice. And so when I think about those early years for me, it was fire. It was only fire for me to walk through and storms for me to endure. I mean, that's what it was like. Now, I'll say this, and here's a key thing. And you're going to see why and how this all ties in with the importance for you all to achieve divine authority. I didn't have a roadmap. I didn't have a mentor or a guide. The only thing as I think back, is that there were a lot of how-to books that I could read. So here I am by myself, no one to guide me, didn't like the books, but yet there I was, this well-educated, tenure corporate, straightforward, enthusiastic guy who was ready to help small business owners who were stuck in the quicksand of poor sales, slow sales, or no sales. And in my mind, I made the decision, well, these owners need a brand strategist. They need a guide. They need me. I was going to be their hero. And it turned out that instead of me being like a hero, I was more like a pioneer. And I found myself forging my own path through this wilderness and all this uncharted territory. I'm like, why did I decide to become a consultant and a coach? And this went on for 19 years. I'm literally wandering through the wilderness for 19 years until 2004, where I made my own one shift. And listen, there was no roadmap for future progress. Excuse my language. I had to figure this shit out as I went along by myself. I felt like a battlefield general out there fighting the war on the front lines without enough ammunition or artillery. But I kept saying to myself, this marketing hack should work. Let's try this. Let's try that. I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting. I heard some speakers, and they said you should do it this way and not that way. But you want to know what I learned? Write this down. You don't last as long as I have by chasing trends. You last by staying true to your purpose, your calling, if you even know what that is. And you know what? Let me say this too. And again, all this stuff that I'm telling you, I've never shared this publicly. I didn't start with a silver spoon. I didn't start with a shortcut. I didn't start with somebody to show me the ropes. The, the road to divine authority was paved with breakdown before breakthrough. How bad did it get for me? Take a look. Money was scarce. And I had a nice high paying corporate gig. My mommy, who was my best friend, died in year 3 of my business. My marriage crumbled. My friends abandoned me. I mortgaged my house so many times just to stay afloat. Meaning I robbed Peter to pay Paul so often that even Peter went broke. I always felt lost, ignored, forgotten. Marketing didn't work. Maxed all my credit cards. Filed bankruptcy 3 times. And I checked off all the boxes. But let me say this and mark my words. I more than paid my dues to be where I am today. And I've got plenty of scars to prove it. And when I look back, those were years I fought for every inch. I built things, I broke things, I lost money, but I found truth. And while it felt like I was always climbing, never arriving, but those years did not break me. They forged me through fire and frustration. And then my calling found its legs. So I want you to pay attention to this slide in particular, because as I was developing this, and by the way, this presentation that I'm doing, this webinar I've never done before. So everything you're saying here is like fresh, brand new. Never done this before. Hope I'm doing okay, by the way. See, if we were live, I was saying, send me some love in the chat box, So I thought about how would I summarize the problems that could be identified that I needed to fix. And I identified when I look back, okay, that there were 5 major business problems at the time. Now, as I read these, make note of any that may ring true with you. I don't know. But for me as an expert, as a coaching consultant, trainer, speaker, yada, 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 these were my problems. Number 1, I kept blending into the crowd, no matter how I tried. Number 2, my my presence online, because we did have some online stuff back then. I looked smaller than I was. It didn't match the depth, power, or results that I actually delivered. So you could say another way that if you came across me online, especially as you start getting into the 90s, okay, early 90s, mid to late 90s, early 2000s, okay, that I had no presence. Number 3, I couldn't clearly express what made me different. Number 4, I had no smart, streamlined, automated way to attract and enroll clients. And number 5, my brand and marketing message, well, they were dull, flat, and forgettable. Said another way, they sucked. And I tell you, these weren't business problems. These were identity problems. Yeah, identity problems. Very different than a business problem. What we think is a business problem, that's a disguise. It may be for some of you more of an identity problem, which is how are you getting, how are you being perceived? Because these problems here, and there were others, but these were like the main five. They kept me stuck, invisible, and overextended. Now, what happened? So I made the one shift. I divine authorized my brand, and then all these problems went away. Now, to say the least, like I alluded to, my road to divine authority was paved with breakdowns. There were moments that shattered me, but every breakdown carried a blueprint, the blueprint for who I was becoming. See, your breakdowns aren't necessarily setbacks, they're sacred pivots. And so, after making my one shift in 2004, and I made other shifts since then. Okay, so if you go from 2004 to today, I made a lot of different shifts. Okay, but after making the shifts that I had, but mainly the one in 2004, I now lead with clarity. I don't chase anymore. Write this down: be the honey and not the fly. Honey attracts, flies chase. Number two, I now attract aligned clients with grace and ease. Number three, I'm no longer the best kept secret, which I was for a long time. Number three, I now stand as the undeniable authority I was always meant to be. I've stopped doubting myself. I'm done thinking like an imposter. Long story short, the one shift was the move that changed everything for me. It doesn't just make you visible and known, it makes you undeniable. So that's what happened for me. And it could happen for you as well. Because in 04, things just started, I mean, it was unbelievable. I just started having all this momentum going forward. So here I am today. And I'm proud to say that I've blessed and impacted thousands of experts. I've been featured in many articles and TV interviews. I am a sought after speaker. I've spoken everywhere from Dubai to San Diego. I am the recipient of many speaker awards and recognition. I've collected hundreds of written testimonials. In fact, remember before the internet, everything was go to Kinko's and make copies, right? So I have like, right even here in this office, my office, I have like hundreds of written testimonials that I collected back in the day before the internet. Like I said, I was an adjunct professor for 10 years. I've conducted countless workshops, both online and offline. And I've also been looked upon as like the marketing guy to put on your stage. And so, as some of you probably know, in the speaking and training industry, you have a lot of organizations that have what are called faculties, right? Well, they have their selected speakers and trainers who will speak on a regular basis. So I sat on numerous faculties with a lot of other top speakers and trainers. And I'm not going to sit here and name their names, but you would know who they were. You would know who they are. And Jerry Foster was the branding guy. So I'm very proud of that. So how and why? In other words, some of you now may be thinking, well, Jerry, that's great for you, but what about me? How can I become the one like you have and make tremendous things happen for myself as an expert too? Well, the answer, and you already know the answer, is to understand that divine authority is critical if you want to be the one. Listen, folks, this is non-negotiable. If you want to be the one, divine authority isn't optional, it's foundational. Because if you choose not to be looked upon as the one, if you don't want to embrace what your higher power is delivering to you through your divine authority, and if you just want to show up as another expert, yeah, I'm not your guy. I get it. But I tell you this, a whole lot of folk starting to realize, Jerry, you're right. It is freaking flooded out there with experts. And so I just want to make sure that you're not just another voice. The world does not need another expert voice. I mean, come on. So when you're creating videos and posting and doing all the different things, right? This tactic, this hack, this whatever, you're just adding to the noise. But if you want to look upon as being the expert, then to divine authority, your brand just makes the most makes the most sense. Okay? To divine authority, your brand just makes the most sense. So here's how this works. And this is why you can't skip this. The one shift represents, if you're wondering what the distinction is between the two, I'm going to read this slide. The one shift represents your catalyst. Remember I said this is about high consciousness. It's the conscious decision on your part to break away from noise, hustle, and fragmentation. Divine authority is your activation that follows when your brand becomes a force backed by clarity, alignment, and higher power. Are you with me? Okay. Now, if some of you are saying, okay, Jerry, but what if you're more, what if I'm more B2C than B2B? Or what if, you have a day job or you're brand new or blah, 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 right? All those different considerations. Listen, check this out. Whatever your mountain is, conquer it. Don't have excuses. Don't have considerations. Conquer your mountain. Because everyone has a mountain. Your mountain might be fear, invisibility, perfectionism, shame, or doubt. Shoot, mine was all five. I was a freaking mess. I was. Divine authority doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It means fear never gets the final say. What's your mountain? So you can step into getting the miracle that you deserve. Nikki did. Read the slide. Nikki felt that she sounded like every other coach out there, that she was getting overlooked as she watched her peers thrive while her income stayed embarrassingly stagnant. And she was I remember she was freaking sick and tired of not making enough money. Raise your hand if you're sick and tired of not making enough money. And she was sick and tired of feeling frustrated. So the solution that she learned, was that she leaned into powerfully articulating her unique value. and enhanced her ability to command respect and attract clients. And as a result, she made more money in the first quarter of 2024 than in the past 2 years combined. She made more money in the first quarter than the last 2 years combined. And she's a nutritionist. There's your B2C on that one. Business to consumer. Okay? An amazing nutritionist. And a mom. And she's got a child on the way too. I understand that. But Nikki's great. And let's take Georgina. Her problem was that she could create success for everyone but herself, despite having years building brands that made millions. So what happened? What was the solution? So I re-engineered her brand to make it so clear and undeniable that prospects had no choice but to notice, hire, and pay her. As a result, she hit 6 figures in just 4 months without a website or an email list. And she was this extraordinary business coach and money mentor. And then Lee said, I'm not getting conversions. No engagement. Excuse me. Start again. I'm not getting conversations. No engagement. And definitely no conversions. People don't even understand what I do. That's common. So I simplified her branding, clarified her offer, and made her message so good, it made her ideal clients feel like she was in their head. As a result, conversations started happening, engagement spiked. And she is a top excellent speaker and coach. She's a real difference maker. I love that photo of her. She's rocking it on the stage, right? So here's the thing. When the pressure's on to spark momentum, that's when you are able to bend the market in your direction. Just tap into your divine authority. Now, believe it or not, I'm going to be even more transparent with you. I had to pray on this one because I've never been this transparent. I've never been this transparent as I am in this presentation. And what I'm now about to tell you is something else I never talk about. And in fact, I don't even talk about it privately, let alone publicly. So here I go. Another one of my fears, another one of my mountains is my age. Now, if you recall, I said 1985 was when I started my company, not 2005. Okay. And in 1985, that was after a 10-year corporate career. So do the math. So more than likely, I'm a bit older than you. Now, I'm sharing this because I don't want any of you to be fooled into thinking that I'm just a has-been, a retread, or passe, thinking, oh, he's over the hill, past his prime. What the fuck does he know? Listen, I've been in the trenches. I put in the work, the blood, the sweat, and tears. And here's the thing. You don't last as long without substance. You don't rise again without fire. With seniority comes wisdom and experience and perspective. And what's amazing is how much my clients and students appreciate all that. That's why they call me Uncle Jerry. Oh, God. So what's your mountain? And listen, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here. This is all about good vibes today, okay? I'm not trying to make any of you sad. But what if you're ignoring your mountains? What if you think you don't have any mountains? What if you have bought into all that BS that all you need to think about is marketing, right? Or what if you think that, well, you know, um, hmm, if okay, Jerry, if I had to think about it, if I had to acknowledge it, Jerry, my mountain would be I'm not sure what to do. That's a good mountain, by the way. That's a good place to start. To acknowledge you're not sure what to do. So you're relying upon AI to write copy, create headlines, and give you answers in seconds because it can. And even though you're not sure what to do and you got to do something, you're chasing speed, hacks, and attention. You're pushing funnels and ads. You're crafting messages for outreach. You're doing podcasts, writing a book, whatever. Or maybe you're yearning for folks to click that follow, subscribe, or buy now button that you want people to click on. Or maybe you're searching for the ideal lead magnet. Maybe you're trying to get more opt-ins. Maybe you're seeking JV partnerships. Yeah, sure, I'll get someone to promote me. Or maybe you're doing any kind of what's called spray and pray marketing. It's like spaghetti marketing, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And I understand the reality of what happens with this. Because remember, in my early years, and those early years are like last century, just so you know. Because remember, I've been doing this 40 years. Okay. This is last century. I know when you got to make money and bills have to be paid, you start thinking you try anything. But here's the thing. Are you ready to deal with the aftershocks and the tremors? I live in LA. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't resist using this. And but in your case, my question to you is this: are you willing to let go of it all, or to at least reprioritize it and do things in the right sequence and in the right order? And more importantly, as an aftershock and a tremor, are you willing to stop hustling to get business? And are you willing to stop believing in all that fancy marketing magic? I cannot even tell you how many experts have shared with me their horror stories. And this one guy came up to me, he said, "Oh my God, Jerry." He said, "I did all this marketing and promotional stuff that you've been talking about, and none of it worked. He said, I got two black eyes and a bloody nose to prove it." But listen, one of the reasons I can be so direct with you today is because I bought the Hustle Lie too. I was a hustler. And I don't mean in a negative sense, but like the fly chasing, right? See, when you have a hustle mentality, your thinking is work harder, do more, work harder, do more, work harder, do more, and then show up everywhere. And I did all that. And yet I felt invisible, empty, broken. Authority, however, isn't built through exhaustion. It's built through alignment. Hustle hides what clarity reveals. And so when you're always hustling, you're leaving money on the table. I mean, that is probably one of the biggest ones that hurt me in those early years, was feeling unappreciated and underpaid. Labor for wages, hours for dollars, pennies per second. Those ring a bell with any of you? People pay you what they can only afford to pay you, or they pay you what they want to pay you. Look, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but no one responds to the same old thing. Uh, and this may shock some of you. I had to let go, depending upon marketing, prospecting, and lead generation tools that were useless, information filled, nauseating, non-responsive, and did not, and simply did not freaking work. I had to let go of all that. And the reason why I would buy into using a lot of those marketing, prospecting, and lead generation tools is because I thought they would work. Because that's what the marketing people, the gurus told me. Do you feel my pain here? So don't ever be fooled into thinking that getting people to buy coaching, consulting, and training is primarily about marketing and selling. Is that essential? Damn right it is. But it's not that simple. There's more to it than that. And so the first thing I had to do was let go of everything I thought I knew. I had to stop hustling and build sustainable ways to attract and retain clients. See, all smart branders and marketers know that when the stakes are real, you don't just show up. You create waves that can't be ignored. You spark movement and stamp your name into the market that will last forever. And by the end of this video, no matter where you are in your business or what you've been through, I'm going to show you exactly how to rise and become the one. No matter your current stage or your past story, by the end of this video, you're going to see how stepping into divine authority positions you as the one, the only person they should work with. So wherever you are in your journey, startup, stuck, scaling, I'm going to show you how to stop blending in and become the one that your market can't ignore, so that you can walk into a room with divine authority, drop the truth that shifts the room, and walk out with a check. So what I'd like you to do right now is put your hand up like this, make a fist, and go ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay? Now, to have that happen for you, you've got to follow exactly what I've been sharing with you to the T. You can't, okay, you have to resist the urge to improvise. This is not about you getting creative with some of the marketing that you may be doing now. When being focused and intentional just plain works. See, legacy isn't luck. And now may be the best time ever for some of you to flip the script, shuffle the deck, and turn the tables in your favor. It's never too late to shift and adapt. No matter your age, your situation, what you've been through. That's why big companies rebrand, retool, re-engineer, revamp, reimagine, rebirth, reawaken, whatever term you want to use. That's the reason they do that all the time, because they understand the importance of having to stay ahead of the curve. And here's another thing. All of this we've been talking about, stuff that you haven't thought of or are not doing, it's okay. This is not about you doing something wrong. This is really more about what's missing for you. As the saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. And the worst thing to do is to act like you do know what you don't know, or what you don't know is not that important. So give yourself some grace here. This is a breakthrough conversation, not a beat yourself up one, okay? More than likely, you may not be doing anything wrong, but something vital may still be missing, and that's okay, because you're here now. And the fact that you are here now tells me you're ready to see what you couldn't before. So don't get it twisted. This isn't about failure. It's about blind spots. And the fastest way to authority is to stop judging yourself and start getting clear. So this is all about your foundation, making sure that you've got it in place. This is about your higher power, tapping in with that, as we talked about, because this isn't just strategy. Anyone can teach you a funnel, but this isn't just strategy. This is sacred. This is legacy work. Your brand, in my opinion, is the spiritual infrastructure of your impact, and divine authority is what anchors it. So, although by training and experience, I'm a branding guy, this is really about expanding your spiritual awakening and natural capacity as an expert in your field, so that you are the first to be perceived as the one who delivers something fresh, original, and distinctively superior, with precision, presence, and power that's unforgettable and undeniably aligned. Why? Because when you build your business from your divine authority, you show up different, you think different, you speak different, you show up with divine authority to give that is specific in your genius. Okay? Now, there's a lot of moving parts to all of this. And I just want to quickly zoom out from the divine authority presentation, and let's look at the divine authority campaign as a whole. There's a lot of things that need to take place when it comes to architecting your brand of divine authority to create those miracles, to achieve those goals and hopes and dreams that you have. However, if you can't get a handle on all of it, you'll never launch a winning divine authority brand campaign. Instead, you'll go bananas. You'll go insane. So I want to use as an analogy how all this comes together. And I want to, as an analogy, I want to use something that we can all relate to, which are blockbuster movies. Now, when you're ready to turn your brilliance into clients and cash, let's think blockbuster movies. In other words, if you want to divine authoritize your brand, become the one, and start pulling clients and cash like clockwork, then follow me to the big screen. Okay? So we can all relate to big movies, right? So here's the deal. I want you to imagine for a moment that you're part of a team that's launching a brand new movie. And the question is, what's your main priority to make it a box office hit? Is it crafting irresistible teasers and trailers, releasing it at the perfect time, generating viral buzz across social media, maximizing your PR outreach, or hosting unforgettable fan experience? Look, all of those matter, but none of them matters most, because if the core story doesn't land, if the characters don't resonate, if the movie doesn't mean something, then all the promotion and marketing in the world can't make it a hit. Now, the same thing goes for your brand. Until your brand carries the kind of resonance that moves people, that shifts perception and emotion in the same breath, you're just creating buzz with no gravity. So you have to have the right blend. Okay. A well orchestrated blend of collaborative efforts, a symphony, an ecosystem that includes a great film, the right branding, smart marketing, and building anticipation. Now, let me show you how to shift that and how to build your brand divine authority. But before I do that, on the flip side, know this: if you misrepresent your film, if you underwhelm your audience, if your branding and marketing fall flat, if you fail to communicate what makes the story forgettable, then no matter how much hype you create, the movie flops. And that's the same thing that can happen with your brand. If people can't feel what sets you apart, they'll scroll past, tune out, or choose someone else. Divine authority isn't about being louder, it's about being truer. Okay? You guys like that? I created that just for this. Okay? Never used that analogy before, but I spent a lot of time on that. So anyway. So you might be asking, okay, Jerry, well, what does this have to do with me becoming the one? Okay. Well, everything, because you being the one isn't about being the busiest, flashiest, or most popular, such as your number of likes and looks. It's about being the one they remember, the one they trust, the one they feel is aligned with their breakthrough. Just like a great film isn't judged by how loud the trailer is, but by the story that stays with you long after the credits roll. Divine authority means you're not just seen, you're received. You move people, and when you move people, you lead them. That's how you become the one. Make sense? So stop the hype. Stop it. Shut it down. It's not necessary. And listen, I was a hype machine. Even after 2004, even going into the internet age. I tried the flashy content, the viral trends. I played the hype game. But hype is hollow. What works isn't always loud. What works is resonant. Hype is a sugar high. Resonance is nourishment. Stop chasing noise. Start commanding presence. So for me, it meant no more chasing shiny objects, no more oohs and ahs over the latest tactic, no more trying to sell, persuade, push, or close, no more showing off, puffing up, or pretending to be the best, the baddest, or the smartest, no more platitudes, all of that. That kind of stuff is played out, predictable, and well performed. That kind of stuff is like warmed over cabbage served on a silver platter. And so I decided that I was done with superficial stuff. I was done with surface. I was ready for substance. And that's divine authority. So mark my words. What does this have to do with you? Well, listen, in a world that is oversaturated with heard it all before hype, today's buyers that you are trying to connect with are skeptical, sharp, and exhausted. They've seen the claims, they've heard the promises, they've been burned. That's why building authority that's authentic to you isn't optional, it's required. Because when your authority is rooted in truth, not tactics, when it's built from alignment, not performance, that's when buyers stop scrolling and start listening. Because your divine authority meets them at their frequency of trust. And that changes everything. A shift. Make sense? So it may be time for you to set a new standard. It means you understanding and being okay with you won't find clients where everyone else is looking. Let me say that again. You won't find clients where everyone else is looking. Divine authority isn't found in the algorithm. It's found in alignment. And it's never just about hiring a marketing person and hoping for the best. Now, going back to me, at some point, I had to stop asking for scraps. I had to raise the bar. I had to raise the bar for my brand, my clients, my leadership, and my life. Divine authority, see, doesn't respond to settling. Divine authority responds to standards. Now, I want to take you into one more thing personally about myself because it's very relevant to everything I've been covering. And this is about back in the day. Okay? So I'm going to take you back to the early and back in the early years before I moved, excuse me, before I made the big shift in 2004, this is where I used to live. For 27 years. Laguna Beach, California. So if you look at the photo on the left, up here in the hills, that's where I live. 27 years. About 50 miles south of LA, I owned and lived in a stunning, panoramic, 180-degree ocean view home. Breathtaking sunsets. I was surrounded by other homes that lit up the canyons at night. I drove a fancy car. I had an amazing lifestyle, and I was definitely one of the Laguna Beach locals. I was hanging out at all the popular bars and restaurants. I mean, I was a man about town, you could say. Now, to the outside eye, my life was clicking because I was helping people and living large at the same time. But wait, there was something very wrong with that picture that people didn't know. I wasn't getting paid what I deserved. I wasn't getting in front of the right people consistently. I kept having cash flow problems. Referrals were inconsistent. I couldn't pay my bills on time. I mean, think about the irony here. I'm Jerry freaking Foster. I was like a rock star at certain events. I mean, people clamored to take selfies with me. People clamored to meet with me, talk to me. During all those early years, despite the storm around me. But I got too full of myself. I was blinded by my own ego. And to my chagrin, I didn't know how to capitalize on this fact. The best marketing opportunity ever was to stop chasing growth, to stop chasing looking good and chasing attaboys, and instead to start anchoring structure where clients' wealth and impact come naturally, as I shared before. See, what I wasn't willing to admit to myself and others, I didn't know how to scale. I didn't know how to scale without chaos. I didn't know how to scale with structure and not hustle. But you want to know the hardest part? Was feeling like a fraud. Even with success, even with the lifestyle, even with clients, I'd wonder, am I really the one? Who am I to lead? See, that's the imposter storm, and it's a lie. But divine authority will silence that storm. So I'm really talking to those of you who have tried it all, are trying it all, but maybe you're not telling the truth to yourself. And so you've gotten on the marketing bandwagon and it's not turning out the way you thought it would. Because quite frankly, you want to know what my goal was back in the day? Was to exploit. My goal was to exploit the latest marketer's tool. Man, I drank the Kool-Aid. But I learned there are no one-trick ponies. I spent more money I didn't have on strategies and tactics that weren't built for me. I tried every framework, every method, every technique, but nothing stuck because none of them were mine. Plug and play and cookie cutter this. And here's our system. Oh, fuck all that. Listen, divine authority is not just another system. It's your, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that, but okay. Trying to be good here. It's your truth structured. It's your brand embodied. How do you say that word? Embodied. Embodied. That's what makes it sustainable. Oh my God. Look at this list. Now I'm laughing because some of you may be too young to even know about some of this old school marketing. See, back in the day, this was the old school marketing that you did to communicate with your target audience. I mean, I did direct mail, cold calling, broadcast, fax blasting. That actually worked. Sales promotions, tons of networking. Hey, let's do lunch. Oh my God. I either attended or was an exhibitor at trade shows. I did tabletop exhibits, offered free workshops, sold cassette tapes. And these were all the recordings of me, okay? Giving talks, speeches, whatever, right? Free giveaways, joined referral groups, offered discount coupons. And let's not forget the trifold brochure. Oh, gosh. This is all before the internet, remember? And I also did a lot of public speaking, which ended up being my number one tool, which is still effective today. But I have an old friend, and I call him marketer par excellence. His name is Mark Lansbaum. And Mark once said, and I'm quoting him, the most expensive type of marketing is marketing that doesn't work. It may be mistargeted, poorly executed, badly conceived, or just lame brained. And even if the marketing breaks even, it treads water. So the bottom line here for me was, well, from low cost to no cost marketing, I just kept looking for ways to get the biggest bang for my buck. And I figured if I just kept throwing it against the wall, something would stick. It's called spaghetti marketing. So let it go. Okay. And don't buy into the hype. All right. So everything changed in 2004 when I decided to stop chasing unicorns. When I decided to stop chasing unicorns, which is what it felt like, I basically stopped chasing validation, started building resonance. And that really was my one shift for noise to name, from performing to power, from being seen to being chosen. And I got to tell you, when I went from noise to name, performing to power, being seen to being chosen, ooh, income shot through the sky. And also, and what also happened um, is that divine authority allows you to attract those premium clients, and not just premium clients, those who are ready to buy. So if you're ready to stop chasing and to be chosen, attract the people in need of help like you offer and are ready to pay for that solution. And so the one shift will mark the moment that you stop following, excuse me, that you stop marketing like a follower and start leading like the undeniable authority you are. So let me say that again. When you decide to make the one shift, you are making the decision to stop marketing like a follower, because that's what everyone else is doing, and start leading like the undeniable authority you are. It's your it's your foundational blueprint. It's rooted in transformation over tradition. It's the shift from, like I said earlier, from effort to embodiment, from aligning your identity, message, and presence into one powerful signal. Now, what does that mean? And you've already heard me say this. It's not about making your marketing louder. It's about speaking from a level of divine authority that is so aligned and so connected to your higher power that your target audience can't help but feel the resonance with you. And I also, at first, I wasn't going to put this slide in, but I said, what the heck? Let's get real here for a second. And let me address this in all candor. If you have ever felt pigeonholed, prejudged, labeled, put in a box, or some kind of narrow category, if you've ever experienced preconceived notions about you because of your age, sex, race, nationality, disability, your looks, the type of business you're in, any kind of ism you've experienced in this ism world that we live in, whatever it may be, listen, don't be bitter or angry. Rise above all that. Because what helps you in business to overcome this kind of stuff is the energetic signature of your brand. So you don't focus on your credentials. It's not about you focusing on just your funnel or your offers or what you think people need. And it's also not your story or your experiences. It's really more about your presence, making sure that your presence lands before you even speak. So, my recommendation here, and again, this ties in with everything I've been talking about today, is to stay focused instead of this kind of stuff and being pissed off about it, is to dance with a bigger question, which is what will make you the one? And you focus on how to show up with divine authority as the one, this stuff will take care of itself. And if it doesn't, that's probably someone you don't want to work with. Okay? We cool? All right. Now, we're going to start wrapping this up. We're going down to the last sets of slides. The only question I really have for you right now is, are you committed? Because none of what I shared with you in this video matters if you aren't committed to become the go-to voice in your market. If you're not committed to stop blending in, if you're not committed to stop diluting your brilliance, to stop waiting for permission, to instead show up with stillness and strength, to speak with grounded power, and to lead from inner alignment. So it should be registering now how all about what I've been saying along this line is more powerful than any kind of marketing tactic or hack or idea that you are thinking about. And if you are doing some of that stuff, and I get it, you got to blend in the divine authority aspect of it and not put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm talking about resonance over noise. See, people don't need more information. People don't need another so-called expert. They need transformation. Your brand shouldn't add to the noise. Okay? All those marketing things that I was sharing earlier and throughout. Your brand should break through it. Resonance doesn't shout, it shakes. Let your truth shake the room. But there's a problem. Perhaps an even bigger problem than any that I have addressed today. And let's get this one out there front and center as well. Now, it's been estimated that I've impacted over 100,000 small businesses from over 600 different industries in my 40 plus years, or 40 years now, of doing this work. I cannot even tell you how many experts, coaches, consultants, trainers, speakers, authors I've spoken with, met with, interacted with. And you want to know a main thing they have in common? They're in denial. But when I say in denial, I'm not talking about denying the problems per se, or denying that there's a fire around them. They're denying how powerful they are. And you may be denying how powerful you are, how necessary you are, how divine your presence really is, that you matter, that you're relevant, that you're significant, that you're being called now to go from the shallow end of the pool to the deep end of the pool. It's time for you to get to the top of another mountain. See, you don't have to shrink to succeed. You don't have to hide to help. I'm asking you to come out of hiding your greatness. In my case, man, as I'm saying this stuff, I'm realizing I've never told anybody any of this stuff. Anyway, in my case, it was like living up in a tree. My own insecurities had me pretending everything was okay. I'm hiding, wearing masks. I'm covering up. The real issues. I'm covering my pride, my struggles, my shortcomings. For years, I covered up anything I couldn't tell anyone about. But I knew something had to shift. So basically, I finally said to myself, enough is enough. I'm leading from this point forward from a rooted place of truth. Now it's your turn. You're not behind. You're being summoned. Everything you've walked through has been training. Every speaker, every trainer, every consultant, every program, every course, everything that you have gone through up to this moment, me and you, your voice, your vision, your vibration, it's all been prepared for this moment. It's your turn to rise. It's your turn to leverage your genius. See, that's my divine authority framework right there. Framework system. I haven't decided what to call it, but anyway. Well, I say what to call it. I mean, I already had been calling it something, but I'm thinking about another name. Method, process. Anyway. It's your purpose plus a signature framework plus embodied positioning equals your divine authority. Because when your purpose meets a powerful when your purpose meets a powerful framework and it's multiplied by fearless positioning, you become impossible to ignore. This is the one shift. It doesn't just elevate your brand, it establishes your legacy. And this is how you rise. That's what Dr. Fred did. As a successful business consultant with a PhD, Dr. Fred had the ability to solve big problems, but his brand didn't reflect that. He felt all over the place. So I narrowed his focus. So instead of doing everything, he became known for one thing as an undeniable authority. And the result, he is now the go to expert in his niche. No more second guessing, just authority and demand. Just a brilliant, brilliant super guy. Meredith, although a top leadership coach, Meredith's brand was scattered. She said, "My brand is not quite right. It isn't hitting the mark." So I pulled clarity, focus, and her uniqueness into alignment to reflect the exceptional leader and speaker she truly was. The result, for the first time in years, everything clicked. Meredith's brand didn't just reflect her, it amplified her. She continues to do amazing work, also an amazing mom. And Julianne's said, "My brand is barely making a whisper when it should be roaring." So I uncovered her real voice, repositioned her as an industry leader and not just another coach. This empowered her to lead with greater authenticity. And her brand became a magnet as clients now come to her, eager to be part of what she's building. And she's built something very incredible called E360 TV. So, in terms of next steps, you've seen the truth. Now you felt the shift. But the problem for so many experts is figuring out how to get all this done. Would you like to know a way to make all this happen? It's called incrementally. Instead of building out your brand, marketing, and outreach piecemeal in scattered pieces, we streamline it into one powerful system with 3 clear focused steps and keep everything aligned under one roof. So, in other words, all of it comes together in one roof and gets done. With the right structure, you don't guess, you align. Every part of your brand becomes a signal of who you are, why you matter, and where you're leading. So it really is a question of, well, Jerry, what is the structure and how does this work? Well, it gets done in 3 easy steps. So this is my 3-step system, and that is we manifest, we monetize, we maintain. That's my business model. That's my secret sauce. First, we manifest. Just say you and I are working together. First, we manifest what you want to have show up. Then we make it show up by monetizing. And then we maintain your success for sustainable growth. Pretty cool, huh? So the question for you is, what if we could anchor your brand, marketing, and outreach in 5 divine authority pillars to ensure success? So basically, what I do is I take my model, manifest, manifest, monetize, maintain, and it's all anchored in 5 pillars that I call my 5 divine authority pillars. And so basically, what I create is your ecosystem. It's not plug and play. It's not one size fits all. It's not cookie cutter. It's customized. It is basically your customized ecosystem to make sure your marketing plan doesn't fail, flop, or flounder. Okay. So in essence, what I do is, we do it together, you and I, because when, like, all those people who are smiling, all those past clients and students, you want to know one of the also main reasons that they like, admire, and appreciate me is because we become friends almost. It's like if you come into my orbit, into my universe, we get like this. You're not just a number. So you and I, we tag team this. Everything is customized by person, by client, by business. You follow me? Okay. So we build your ecosystem. We build it upon your customized 5 authority pillars. And we build your divine authority brand to make sure that you are the one. And there's a lot of remember I said earlier, there's a lot of moving parts where there's a lot of deliverables here, meaning that when I work with people, it's not about principles, methods, processes, and approaches and tactics. I don't do that. I take great pride in creating things that are actionable, that are tied into a result or an outcome you're seeking. Okay? So to do that, things have to be created. They have to be produced. They have to be customized. And there's a lot, 20 plus. It is great, but they're all part of the moving parts. Now, at the beginning of the webinar, I told you I had 2 agendas today. My first was to give you the very best solution you've ever heard for leading your category, commanding premium fees, and getting more clients. Did I make good on that promise? I certainly hope that I did. You all have no idea of the number of hours it took me to put this together. Hundreds. I'm not kidding. Anyway, let me keep going. I'm just glad I'm able to do it. Oh gosh. Now, my second agenda was to present to you an offer that I think, if you're the right person for it, would be the very best thing in the world you can invest in. Remember I said that? So do I have your permission to make such an offer right now? Now, I have total confidence that you could take everything we covered and apply it to your business on your own today. I do. With the information we've covered in this webinar, I'm sure you could go out into the real world of business growth for experts and accomplish what most wouldn't be able to. I mean, I've given you all so much, some of y'all might want to do it yourself. If that weren't your only option, you still be off to a great start. Okay. But what if there was another option? You see, before doing this presentation today, and as I've been sharing, as I've been transparent with you all, this has been emotional for me. This has been thought provoking for me. I did a few all nighters. I'm not kidding. I kept finding I would create and then I would, bump up against something, but it was always next level, next level, next level. So before I was doing this presentation today, I realized I was faced with 1 or 2 choices. Okay. One is the first option, which is I just part ways with you and then hope that on your own you can figure it out. That is an option. Hey, Jerry, nice to meet you. Nice listening to you. See ya. See ya. Have a great life. Okay. The other option, though, is to go together, which is my second option, where I could take a more active role and responsibility for your success to create a win-win situation for both of us. Okay. Because with my second option, you're going to be so glad it's performance based. So there's no risk for you. Oh, isn't that interesting? Wow. I'm not coming at you fee based, I'm coming at you performance based. I'm that fucking good. Okay. Now, here's what it is. For those of you who feel stuck on your own path, I've got a special gift for you. It's called Craft Your Authority, your signature authority signal. And it is a special price of only $33. And so basically, you and I, look at the first bullet point, are going to have a 30-minute Zoom session, just you and me, where I help you identify the one positioning move that makes you instantly more magnetic to your ideal client. You will quickly command attention without chasing. Limited spots are available. So this is first come, first serve. So if you want to get on my calendar, because I've only got a few slots that I'm making available every week, and you want to activate your one shift, and you want to claim your Divine Authority Quick Start and schedule your session, then just go to divineauthorityunleashed.com. And when I have this one-on-one session, I promise I will not try to sell you anything. I don't do that. Okay. You have, what do they call them? Bait and switch. You ever heard that expression? They lie, give you the bait, and then you get on the call or in the Zoom, whatever, and all of a sudden it's a big sales pitch. No, I want to sow into your life for 30 minutes. Okay. Now, when you sign up at divineauthorityunleashed.com/yes, you get the best solution for leading your category, commanding premium fees, and getting more clients. And you also get something else for $33. You're getting me. Oh gosh. Am I worth more than 33? Why? You ever heard of the poem called Footprints? So this is why I'm doing this. Read what it says. A man had a dream he was walking on the beach with God. As he walked, many moments from his life shone in the sky. Each moment had footprints. Sometimes two sets, sometimes one set. The man noticed all his hardest times there was only one set of footprints. The man asked God why he was left in his darkest moments to walk alone. And God replied, son, the times you see only one set of footprints is when I carried you. Okay. So when you sign up at divineauthorityunleashed.com, divineauthorityunleashed.com, like I said, you get both the best solution for leading your category, commanding premium fees, and plus getting me and getting, plus you get me. Anyway, that is a typo. Oh God. That could have been at 5 in the morning. I don't know. Oh gosh. I can't believe. Oh, leave it to be one of the last slides. Anyway, and with me, if things ever get hard and you need to be carried, I will carry you. I will support you. I will be there for you. Okay? That's what they all call me, Uncle Jerry. I believe in you more than you believe in you when it comes to this. So help me help you at divineauthorityunleashed.com/yes. So join the movement. This is not just marketing. This isn't about legacy. We don't play small. We lead. You're not alone. You're called. Divine Authority is a movement of messengers, mentors, and market leaders answering the call to rise. And on a personal note, in the spirit of transparency, I close with this, and I'm going to read this to you that was laid on my heart to write. Not long ago, someone asked me, why are you doing all this divine authority and the one shift work, especially now, at this stage of your life and career? Had you thought about retiring? I told him this. Every experience since launching my company in 1985 shaped me, molded me, prepared me for this moment. It was never just about business. It was about becoming. I've been awakened. I've been reawakened, reborn into my true calling. Because what I carry now is something many experts don't: destiny. And destiny belongs to the dark horse, the one no one expects to win, especially when you've been overlooked, underestimated, or broken before. So as a spiritual person like you, all I can say is, thank you, God. Thank you for trusting me, for not giving up on me, because this is my time. I know why I'm here. I know who I am and what I'm finally meant to do, even in the midst of some personal health challenges. I waited for this. I bled for this. I've been forged for this new beginning, this new chapter. Truth is, I wasn't ready before, but now I am. And if you're still here reading this, thank you. That tells me something about you. If you've got fears about stepping into your oneness, don't let them hold you back. Just know this: if we work together, I will show up for you fully. I won't let you down, because your rise matters. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Good night and good day. Take care.